One. All right,
Oh,
calling Lee Bailey.
dance break. You're doing that cholo dance.
Well, I can't move my neck. That's the sit-down dance. Like when you move your neck. Hello, is this Lee Bailey?
Yes, it is.
Lee, how are you? Paul, outside our tackle box radio show and podcast. We have Tommy co-hosting.
Hey, what's going on, Lee?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Welcome to the
That's
show.
good.
Good,
The
yeah.
photo
I
you.
appreciate it.
We appreciate having you.
Yes, we do. We love hearing fish stories. The idea behind the show is to spread happiness to the world through the joys of fishing. And your story, your photo tells a story, and we want to hear about it. That is a giant looking bass. It looks like you could almost put your head in the mouth of that fish. That's how big it is.
Lee,
Yeah.
I'm a big dude. I'm a fairly fluffy man. However, that fish looks like it's big enough to carry me on its back and take me for a ride.
I would like to film that.
That poor fish, but yes.
So we want to hear where you caught the fish. So the location, the bait you were using, and then the size of the fish. It's that easy and it's that fun. This is your podcast. It gives you bragging rights. I almost said rights wrong.
Yeah.
Who knew that was a hard word?
Okay.
Lee, you'll have to forgive him. Paul can barely talk. He can actually barely move his neck right now. So
I
Oh no.
I have a stiff neck, unlike Tommy. Oh, you know what, Lee? I said I wasn't gonna make fun of Tommy, but I'm going to right now.
Yeah.
I actually do work out a little bit, and Tommy doesn't.
I do 5-ounce curls into my mouth.
But if it's like, yeah, that's true.
I do forklifts.
He gets a little bit of
Yeah.
exercise when he walks to the couch. Well, to the refrigerator from the couch.
That sounds like me.
That's my walks. Yeah, that's when my Fitbit starts counting my steps is from the couch to the
If
fridge.
it's
and
burning
then back.
calories, why not? Right?
That's right.
There's steps.
Exactly, they count.
Okay, let's
All
not
right,
interrupt
Lee.
any more of Lee's podcast with your big jokes. All right, Lee, so we want to hear about that fish. It's your fish story. Tell us about it.
Go for it, bud.
Go.
Well, that fish weighed 10-1,
Wow.
and I caught it here at. I live in Florida now, and I caught it here at Lake Reedy in Lake Wales. And it's kind of interesting what was going on. We had this little area that had some lily pads in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if they sprayed it, which it kind of looked like they did, but the lily pad heads died off. All the leaves died off, and there was
Mhm.
nothing but stem.
Hmm.
And so we were fishing that area in July, and we were fishing with a trick worm,
Okay.
a June bug trick worm on a 1/8 weight, and just throwing it out there, and really just not moving it much. And when you felt the lily pad stem, you just kind of sit there and shake it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like for a while there, it was like every time you'd bump into a lily pad stem, you'd get a bite.
Oh, nice.
And it was amazing. I mean, we had some in the middle of July down here in Central Florida. Hello?
Yeah, no, we're listening.
listening.
Yeah, we
Oh,
love the
okay.
tips about
Okay.
It's always great when you on almost every cask that you can pull in a fish, and so that's not always true because, and we tell people all the time when we take them out fishing.
What's funny is Lee thought we had hung up, but in reality, I was just mesmerized by the story. I'm like, wow, dude, that's a 10-1? That's a huge fish.
And don't put it past us
It-
to actually lose calls because I have done that.
Yeah, well, no, but that's not what was
Okay.
happening. I was sitting there. I was like, you know how like when your grandpa was telling a story and you're sitting there listening and you're just like, yeah, what happened next? So that's where I was.
Well, I think we both were.
No,
Yes.
I wanted to
Yeah,
hear
I
about how
was
to
there.
catch those fish.
I was there too when we were catching all these fish. I mean, it's mid-Florida in the middle of July,
Oh man.
and you know, water's low and hot. Water temperature was like 93, 94 degrees.
Oh man, that humidity
and,
was probably
and still
killing too.
catching these fish. Oh, it was. You know, the time of year you go fishing at daybreak and you come back at 10 o'clock.
Oh man.
You know, because it's just too hot
It's
to stay
unbearable.
out any longer.
Yeah. No, yeah,
And,
it's unbearable at times, but I mean, I'm glad you stuck it out and you ended up with that thing.
Yeah, it was an amazing 3 weeks in July. I can't say anymore. I caught 3 10-pounders, and we caught 2 9s.
See,
And I can't count the number of 5 to 7s we caught.
those
And
are
I
the
mean,
type
it
of fish
sounds
you
like a
get
real
mounted.
fish bowl.
Those are the type
Yeah.
of fish you get mounted right there. I mean, you just post those up.
Yeah,
over...
I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it, you know. And my buddy Tom, he fished with me all the time in the summer, and he was there for this. So I got a witness to all them big fish being caught.
well, not only do you have
That's
a witness,
important.
yeah,
when
it
you have
is
when you
important
have somebody to actually witness
to
the fish
verify your
story.
story. Yeah,
Yeah, because most of the times you don't, and then you're like, you should have seen this giant fish I caught.
Well, see,
Yeah.
and in
Yeah.
all due respect, see, I believe that totally because Lee, I fish a lot with Paul, but there's times where he goes out and all of a sudden he catches the biggest fish in the world.
Always.
You know, he's out catching like
Yeah.
he's out catching great white sharks in Lake Tahoe, which is impossible. But you know, he'll tell me that's what happened because that's just how
Yeah.
he
That's
rolls.
because you're not there, and you need to hear.
Yeah.
You need to hear the actual truth, and so
Oh,
that's
the actual truth.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. How do you know there's not a great
Yeah,
white shark in there? I mean,
But-
sharks have been known to
No.
live in fresh
No.
water.
Not that far in, unless Sharknado like picked one up and threw it over there. But yeah, no, Lee, you know, yes, you have a witness, but not only that, you have the photo, and the photo now is blasted all over the internet. And you have been now on the Outsider Tackle Box radio show podcast, so people all got to hear about it too. See,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
That's how you put a
what
stamp
I
on
like.
it.
You know, I like people to learn, and you know, I like people to see what we catch. You know, I mean, I was a full-time pro fisherman on the Bassmaster Elites and FLWs for 9 years, and
nice.
now I'm retired here in Florida, and
And still doing what you,
you
love.
know, and doing what I love, and it's, you know, it's just such a great place to fish, and you know, there's a lot of lakes around, and there's you don't have to go to the big name lakes like, you know, like Lake Kissimmee or Toho or
Well-
Okeechobee. I mean, not that them lakes ain't great.
Well, see, the thing
'Cause
is,
they are.
Florida has no lack of water,
Mhm.
really. I mean, you can find
That's
anywhere
right.
to fish.
I've always said that name wrong, by
Okeechobee?
the way. No, I say Kissimmee.
Stop trying to make offers at me. That's weird. I thought you were saying Okeechobee, and I was like, okie dokie, Okeechobee. But no, that's awesome. I mean, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like you posted the picture, you have a witness. Now the podcast is all over nationwide, actually worldwide. We, you know, because we got followers out in Germany and everything.
We do sell
I
our
mean,
boxes in Germany, so we
you
have
know,
a small following out there.
Yeah. So Lee Bailey is now going to be a big name out in Germany. Look at that. See, there you go.
Well, he needed no help from us.
That'd be great.
He's already a fishing pro.
Yeah.
So thanks for being a good sport about this and coming on the radio show and podcast.
We loved having you, man.
We loved having. We enjoyed the
Oh,
fish
great.
story and the fishing tips that you gave us. Please continue to send in photos.
One other thing is because he was on the Bassmasters tour and stuff like that, I would love to hear him or have him post some more tips if he could.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? I mean,
Okay.
you know, if he
Well,
posted
that's
it.
up to him. But yeah, of course, we
I'm
would
just
love
saying,
it.
I would love it. I'm just dropping the
Okay.
hint is all I'm doing. But yeah, no, definitely, Lee. Anytime you want to drop a hint or a tip or post another picture. We would love to have you back on.
Tommy will contact
All
you
right, you
later
bet.
with details. But yeah, please continue to do so. We'd love to have you back on the show. We want to hear your
Yeah.
fish story. So from all of us here at Outsider Tackle Box, tight lines, fish more,
Tight lines, bud.
and please be back with us.
All right. Take
Okay,
care.
I will.
All right,
right.
thanks, Lee.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Take care.
You bet. Bye.